Welcome in everybody to another episode of ZB's Horsepower Talk. As always, I'm ZB Zach Brown. Joining with me as always is former 410 Sprint Cars crew chief and mechanic, my dad, Jeff Brown. Make sure you guys like and follow and anywhere you get your podcast platform and on the YouTube channel, and share, subscribe anywhere you watch this on TikTok or whatever social media platforms you use. Big week of racing has wrapped up in Pocono. Big upset win with Chase Briscoe playing the fuel mileage strategy, wins in Pocono, and actually it only rained a little bit in Pocono this past weekend. So shocker to everybody. It's probably the biggest shocker of the whole weekend. IndyCar just wrapped up another race at big shocker. Road America was won by Alex Palou. Nobody's shocked about that.
Yeah.
And NHRA put on another great, very hot racing. The very hot racing surface up in Virginia, but it put on some really good fast times. And we're looking ahead to NASCAR as they start their in-season tournament this week. So we will talk about that in just a second. But Pocono has a couple upset win. You can kind of say the Xfinity race was an upset win with Connor Zilisch winning, but
Yeah.
Dale Jr. as a crew chief gets his first win as a crew chief. Now, how much did he really do? I mean, they have engineers that really play all the strategy stuff. He might have been
He
just a good voice for Connor to,
yeah, he got to talk on the radio.
yeah. And then Chase Briscoe gets his first win for Joe Gibbs this season. So pretty interesting racing, pretty interesting how the playoff standings are shaking out now. Chase Briscoe has improved week in and week out with that car, though.
Yeah. And you know what? At some point that car's too good for them to be running. He's gradually been getting better and he was never a bad driver, I didn't think. I don't think his equipment was as good as it is now. So, yeah, hats off to them and Pocono's sort of a Pocono race. It's a little bit boring. It's really hard to pass unless you're on a restart. Just those cars get so aero tight when you catch the car in front of you. It's really, they would run up and catch them, and then you can't do anything with it. But and it was funny. They told him to save gas, and the easier he ran, the faster he went. And they were showing the in-thing fuel mileage, and most guys were under 5 miles a gallon. He was getting almost 6, so that's unreal how well he was doing there, and still, you know, basically driving away, or at least holding his lead.
I thought Denny was going to be in striking distance, but it comes down to that last race, that last corner, going to the white flag, and he stretched it just far enough from Denny. I was like, Denny's not really going to be in striking distance now. Denny was the best car at the end. I think it would have just taken a little bit more time. But yeah, hats off to Briscoe driving defensively, offensive, I guess. And it means Denny's best. We didn't jinx Denny at least.
No, he got
He didn't
second.
completely crash. So yeah, he and you dominated once again in fantasy. This is definitely your way better of a fantasy year than you had
Well, so,
last
see,
year.
the problem is that means I'm just going to completely suck this week.
Yeah, well, I've sucked every week, so that doesn't really matter. Um, but it'd be good for Connor Zilisch getting a big win. They says the first win on oval. I'm like, yeah, it's technically an oval track, but it's a triangle. So, uh,
Like I said, if any of them race a little bit like a road course and strategy wise is very similar to a road course, but hey, hats off to them, Junior, crew chiefing, and I don't know how much of the strategy was on him or anything, but he came down, he had an issue early. I'm thinking, well, that he sucks, and all of a sudden he came back up and cautions fell his way and ended up in the front, and and he's a freaking great racer. I think we're going to see him for years to come now.
yeah, he's gonna. I mean, he's already racing a partial schedule in the Cup Series. He's 19 years old, and
Yeah.
it's just it's incredible. And the way he talks in Victory Lane too shows his maturity as well. And you would never guess that he's 19 besides looking at him.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It looks like he's about
the way he
15.
speaks is just really well spoken. Just yeah, he's gonna be a champion in the sport, whether it's Xfinity or eventually in the Cup Series. He might not be Xfinity champion because he might not get many more years in Xfinity. He'll be moved on up before you know it.
Yeah. For real.
Uh, and shoot, maybe that's when Junior will snag Corey Day whenever Zilisch moves up. Let's see if that happens. That wouldn't surprise me if Junior tries to snag him.
No, that would be a good full-time development.
Somebody's going to need to. Yeah, somebody needs to snag him
Yeah.
before. I mean, he's already racing for Spire, and they're affiliated with Hendrick, so uh, could possibly happen. We'll see. Let's preview. Get into a completely different race. This is actually another wild card race. Now, this is the start of the in-season tournament, which is if you're familiar with March Madness, they are kind of doing a bracket. So it's a head-to-head matchup with drivers. They pick it every single they have it already laid out 32 drivers 32 for the entire summer, um, and this is the week where you'll likely see a lot of upsets. And so there's high seeds against low seeds, of course, which is the first round. This is one heck of a week to potentially have the low seeds beat the first seeds. Now they don't have to win races, they don't have to do that. I'm going to actually do a separate video with me live streaming the picks of the tournament. So I'm gonna, well, not live stream, but like actual reaction of me picking each and every driver. So stay tuned to see that. Uh, but you have drivers this week. I mean, drivers that stand out to me that could potentially have a really good race. You have Ricky Stenhouse Jr., traditionally not going to be up and around, even though he had a really good run with Pocono. But that's
For a
one to watch
while, and
out
then
for.
all of a sudden he was back to 30th place.
Well,
So I don't know what
you have
happened
him to look out for. You have both Dillons, Ty and Austin, because this is Atlanta. I mean, it's a drafting track, so
there. Yeah.
anything can
And
happen.
surprisingly, Ty Dillon's probably having a better year than Austin Dillon.
Yeah, and then you have John Hunter Nemechek, who's been running well. He can always race well here. Eric Jones, there's another one. There's just so many different drivers that could potentially have a big upset here in Atlanta this week and sets up. Now, the winner of this whole tournament, they get $1 million. So there's a lot up for grabs for this, and it's really cool for the drivers to see.
So how in the world do they determine this? I'm just looking at the bracket. They have Hamlin number one. Okay, I'll give them that one. Briscoe number two.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure
Larson's
how all the
10th.
seating goes, but
Ty Gibbs is sixth. I don't, Chris Buescher third. Interesting. Okay, well, I don't
yeah,
know
I'm
much
looking
about
at
it.
it now. So yeah, but here's the thing. Like, I mean, Denny going against Ty Dillon, that could, I mean, Ty Dillon could pull an upset, and it's really
At
interesting.
Atlanta for sure. That wouldn't be, any big shocker, I don't think.
No, not this week, but I think it's cool for the drivers to win, to have a chance to win $1 million, and fans
Yeah.
have a chance to win $1 million too if you enter your bracket, and for like perfect brackets, kind of like March Madness does. I can't be any worse on this bracket than March Madness, so um, but it's definitely cool to, it's something different to them to try out. A lot of drivers have vouched for this to have something to really race for in the middle of the season. So, but think about it this way: you got Atlanta, then you've got Chicago. So if there's an upset this week, there could be another upset next week,
Yep.
and then you have Sonoma. So three upsets could happen in a row. And then you have traditionally Dover, and then it ends at Indy at the Brickyard.
Okay.
So we'll see how that all shakes out. It'll be really cool to see.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Might be fun to play around with.
Well, like I said, I'll do a separate video doing my bracket, and I mean, enter your bracket too. I mean, why not do it? Enter free bracket, it's a chance to win. And but we're gonna do our normal NASCAR fantasy. So NASCAR fantasy lineup heading in to Atlanta. Well, oh sorry, it's Echo Park Speedway now. They
Yeah,
changed the name. They
that's
got a sponsor now, but it's Atlanta.
dumb.
Um, Atlanta's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be hot this weekend though.
Yeah, whole Southeast is under the heat dome, which surprisingly, Florida's not part of that. It's always under heat dome. So yeah, and just a issue on that, like last week, Ryan Blaney's cool suit wasn't working, so he was completely exhausted after that race, after coming home third. So,
The one consolation this week though is that there are
it's at night.
it's at night, Saturday night. So Friday night is Xfinity and Saturday night is Cup. Love that. Love Atlanta
Yes,
the
Saturday night
lights.
racing.
Gonna be a lot of fun. Now I think qualifying is going to be like late evening, so that is going to actually, and practice is going to be a little bit, and it's also it's definitely going to throw a loop in a lot of the strategies. I think it starts at 8 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. So it actually starts under the lights.
Yeah, that's cool. I have to make sure I get a nap in that day to watch it.
Well, luckily it's Saturday night and where
Yeah.
people could see it. So it's 7 o'clock. So green flag probably around 7:30 ish. NASCAR's back on TNT on that one. So yeah, it's gonna. I mean, it's still gonna be daytime, but it's not as much of a transition
Right.
like you
The sun's
usually
already
see.
going
But
down.
yeah, the track's gonna be starting to cool. It's still gonna be hot, but the track's wearing out with this drafting style, slick racetrack, and not a lot of places you can
Yeah, that
pass. It comes
that
up on
might
you
be interesting.
fast.
It might actually, I mean, it's been pretty good racing there anyway, and a little bit of slipping and sliding could make it very interesting race this week.
Yeah, and it goes by fast. Atlanta's quick, so it's
Yeah.
a quick race for a drafting track. They go around under 30 seconds each lap, so it'll be fun to see. But let's give our NASCAR fantasy lineup heading into Atlanta, and it is your turn to go first this week. And hopefully, maybe I can do something dramatic this week to make up in the standings. Who knows? We'll see. But go go ahead with your lineup.
All right. So I had to put in some new drivers this week and run out of the other guys. So, and I think these are going to be a good one for this track. So in my starters, I have Austin Cindric, Brad Keselowski, Ross Chastain, Chris Buescher, last week's winner Chase Briscoe, and in my garage I have Carson Hocevar. And the featured matchups, it's Kyle Busch versus Brad K. I have Brad on that one. Alex Bowman versus Joey Logano. I do have Bowman in this one. Larson versus Reddick. I am not going to pick Larson on a drafting track. Tyler Reddick on that one. And Ross Chastain versus Eric Jones. That's a tough one there. Eric Jones I could see him running good, but I do have Chastain on that one. So my pick to win is Brad K this week. Mom's pick is Chase Elliott.
Well, we are different on a lot of things. So my starting lineup for Echo Park Speedway, aka Atlanta, I do have Austin Cindric in. Fords will be pretty quick on these drafting tracks like they usually are. Joey Logano, Chris Buescher, Brad Keselowski, you see a theme right here, and Ryan Blaney. All Fords are in my lineup. And in my garage, I do have Chase Elliott, so I have a hometown kid in the garage just as a safety net there. Kyle Busch versus Brad Keselowski. I do have Brad K on that one. Just Kyle. If there's a track that can get back on track, though, this one is could be for Kyle. But until I'm seeing something different, I'm going to pick Brad. Bowman versus Logano. I have Logano in this one. Again, I think the Fords are going to be up front all night long. Larson versus Reddick. Yeah, that's no brainer. Even though Larson do really well in his last
Yeah.
drafting
Not if
track at
we pick
Talladega,
him.
but I'm not picking him. So Reddick over Larson and Chastain versus Eric Jones. I have Eric Jones on this one. I think he can run
Okay.
well. I think he and John Hunter can really hook up and have a pretty decent race. Hot picks this week. You got Blaney. It says Kyle Busch, but take that with you, Will. Kyle Larson to avoid, of course. Void Denny Hamlin, which he is a really good drafting driver. He just hasn't had
Yeah, I
big
don't know about
finishes in
that one.
Atlanta. And the sleeper's Daniel Suarez. That's just because he won a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
There, I don't know. It's anybody's race. It's a crapshoot race. So my pick to win this week, I'm sticking with the Ford theme mainly because it's my entire lineup. But I have the driver of and the teammate of yours that you picked. I have Chris Buescher to win
Okay.
this one. All right, moving on to NHRA, and that's the only other thing this week. IndyCar, like I said, below one, so nothing to preview there.
Well, we do have the Outlaws from Houston to go over.
Yeah, we'll finish up with dirt like we always do. But previewing NHRA, so that you pretty much had a clean sweep until somebody got disqualified in Top Fuel.
No,
Uh,
yeah, well, I did have a clean sweep because he got disqualified.
oh yeah, Justin Ashley winning.
So if it was the finals and top fuel dragster was Sean Langdon over Justin Ashley, and post race NHR is getting like freaking NASCAR. There was some bell housing bolts or something missing from Langdon's car, which I don't think is any kind of a performance advantage. Did they
No,
fall out? Were they left? If they were
feel
left
like it's
out,
more
it's
of
a
a
safety
disadvantage if
issue.
something
But
screws up.
but they disqualified his run and gave it to Justin Ashley, which I think Justin Ashley just smoked the tires right at the start, so he was dead in the water.
Mm.
But
Well, we look smarter than what we are. The Austin Prock versus Jack Beckman, and we're in the finals together, and we both picked each driver to win. I had
yeah,
Beckman winning. That was the best finals race.
yeah, that was a good race.
The motorcycle it just Angie did everything right. Just car motorcycle is just so fast. That thing has just got so much power. I don't I don't know what it is. They just got it going.
Yeah.
I had Angie's husband in the final, so maybe there's a consolation there. But now this week they're going to Ohio. I don't know if Ohio's part of the heat dome that's been going on, but I think towards the end
It's
of this
still
week
going to
it's
be
supposed to cool.
hot.
Well, it's supposed to cool down a little bit towards the end of this week. Like the heat index today out here is 105.
So the funny thing about Norwalk, Ohio, they're famous for their cheap ice cream. Kind of like Martinsville's got the cheap hot dogs. Norwalk's got, I think it's $2 for 2 scoops of ice cream. Everybody says how great it is. I'm sure it's probably just, Edie's or Hershey's or somebody's ice cream. So other than that, it's a drag strip. As long as the tracks are repaired, lanes are equal. Hard to say what's going on, but all four divisions are back this week. I think. I think
They
we do have
are
Pro
Pro
Stock
Stocks are
back,
back
which
in
is
action
weird. I don't
this
know why
week.
they didn't go Virginia.
Yeah, so this will be another good one, I think, and they'll be off for a few weeks. They might be. I don't think it's till the end of July that race, so they've got some time off. So, let's give our picks for NHR this week. Go ahead and give your picks for all four series. See who you got, and
All right.
see if you can get another clean sweep.
All right. So Pro Stock motorcycle, hard to go against Gage Herrera. I'm going to stick with him. Pro Stock, you're torn between Greg Anderson and Dallas Glenn. I'm going to go with Dallas Glenn on that one. Funny car. I'm going to change it up a little bit. This guy was probably the best car, but got beat in the semis. J.R. Todd for funny car. And for Top Fuel, Smoke gets it done again this week. Got Tony Stewart in Ohio.
All right, so Gage Herrera, get him out off he's gonna. I got him for motorcycle. I'm not even gonna really think about that one. Easy enough. Still improving otherwise. Thought he was gonna struggle a little bit more this year. Clearly not happening. So that's he's kind of in his groove right now. Uh, for Pro Stocks coming back this week, he needs a big boost. He's third or fourth in the standings, but he is one driver. If anybody can get it going, start building some consistency. He's done it before. Matt Hartford for Pro Stocks,
Okay.
and in Funny Car, I I gotta go with Austin Prock. I mean, that's the fastest car right now, fastest driver. But in Top Fuel, I'm going to go a little bit different. Uh, I'm gonna go with Doug Coletta.
Okay.
All right, so Huset's to go over the sprint car action this past week. There's one driver that's had a pretty good paycheck this past week.
Yeah.
The 100,000 and the $250,000 winner, same dude, Buddy Kofoid, cashes in for $350,000 total. I mean, he won more between the other nights too,
Yeah.
but $350,000, not a bad week at sprint car racing.
No, it was a good week, and it's funny. Somebody online was shitting about the track prep at Huset's. I thought the track was in really good shape considering the amount of cars they had, the amount of racing 4 nights in a row. The track never took rubber, had a cushion. I mean, there was passes for the lead. I don't know what more you want out of that track. It's a neat little third mile fast track. I think it was good racing. I mean, I think most of the sprint car races this year have been good racing. But yeah, Buddy Kofoid, he was just on it on those big paydays. And I don't remember what he got in the other two, but I'm sure he was top five in both of them. So he was just really fast this weekend.
So apparently you build up points for like to set the heats for the Saturday lineup for the big money, and he was on point in the heats and on point for the dash, and he
Yeah.
he just he just got. It's very similar to how Logan Schuchart won the million at Eldora. He's started up front and everything the way. I mean, he did everything, executed perfectly. The team did too. I mean, it wasn't like a whipping. He didn't whoop everybody. I mean, he was just
Yeah, the track's too
Would make
small to be a whooping. So I mean, they're on. But shout out to Bill Baylog, who had a really
shoot.
good
He had a
week.
chance.
He has really been improving this year.
Yeah, and a lot of the big money races too, because he was in
Yeah.
contention at I-55, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, Now the larger tracks though, you won't see Baylog, so Williams Grove, you don't really see him. Eldora, you don't really see him, but randomly these
Normally,
little
but we'll see how he goes this year. Like I said, I think he's
well
improved a lot.
the
So
it's the these little bull ring tracks that he
that's
just has a knack for.
probably what
And
he's,
it's
raced on for a long time. Because I
well,
think he came from the CRA or NARC sprints, and a lot of those are a lot smaller tracks.
yeah, I I think that he will actually have a pretty decent shot at Knoxville this year based on what I'm seeing with the tracks he's winning. But shoot, Buddy Kofoid's got the most momentum on these big time.
Yeah, I mean, right now, you is Buddy Kofoid favorite for the Knoxville Nationals?
Shoot, Buddy.
He's got to be right up there.
Yeah, well, I mean, wasn't I'm pretty certain somebody said Buddy Kofoid was the dark horse this year. So just saying, um,
Not sure
good.
how much that's a dark horse, but
Still dark horse, still doing well. I'll still take it. Let me see what the point standings are right now. But any more you want to go over on Houston's what you saw and PA Speedway starts next week too.
oh yeah, interesting fact about that. Christopher Bell back in the 69K for Lincoln Speedway and Grandview, and then Ryan Smith is going to be running the 69K at the rest of the tracks. So now I don't know if Darren Pittman is not going to be running any in the 69K, or if he maybe just be coming back for the National Open. I never saw anything. I know they're going to have Pittman. They let Pittman go run another car for Knoxville Nationals, so maybe he's not in. But hopefully, Christopher Bell gets to work with Dad coming up this week. So Dad never got to meet Christopher Bell, so maybe Dad can spin the magic wrench there he keeps with him all times and get him rolling to
Oh,
one of the wins.
he didn't get to work with him when High Limit was there at Grandview last time.
I don't think Dad went.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, he always shows at the PA Speed Week, so that
Yeah,
uh
that'll be at least at Lincoln. I'm sure.
I'd like to see how so traditionally 69K is not great at Lincoln, but I'd like to see how I don't think Seabell's ever raced at Lincoln either. So I'm
I don't
curious to
know.
see.
I know he goes good at Grandview.
Yeah, he likes Grandview. He raced there quite a lot.
Yeah,
Um, so looking up the World of Outlaw standings, I just found it. I thought Kofoid was making up ground. He's not. It's actually a 176 point difference to David Gravel now.
okay.
So it's just
Yeah, even Gravel one has a bad day. He runs
fine.
fifth.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I, I mean, Kofoid could have a chance, but it just he has to somehow get luck on his side where David Gravel's luck is bad. Like he doesn't even make the show.
yeah.
You can make,
Yeah,
I think,
it don't seem like you can really make up any ground in the outlaw points.
not
It's
not if the I mean because there's points for everything. So David
yeah,
Gravel's not gonna again if he just doesn't show up to a show, that's the only chance you can make up ground. Other than that, I mean, he's already getting far ahead. Getting to the slick summer too. And is it outlaw race at Williams Grove next Friday for July 4th?
no, it's
Is
just
it
it's just it's just PA
their
speed
normal?
weeks.
Okay. I feel like before they would have all stars come there back in the day, but
I'm not sure it hasn't been an all-star show, and I don't believe it is this week. I think it's just regular. I don't even know what rules they're gone by on this one. If they're doing like outlaw rules or all-star rules, or they got their own, or
we'll I think we'll do a kind of a PA Speed Week as it goes. Kind of as it goes, and
yeah, it
I mean we'll
starts
be back
Friday
again
at Williams
middle of the
Grove.
week next week. We'll kind of do a midweek update on the speed week, how it's going. What's Grandview Tuesday, I believe. They usually race on Tuesdays randomly.
Yeah, I think Lincoln's Monday, Grandview's Tuesday, or it's
Yeah.
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah. There's I
The 31st and the so no Lincoln's Tuesday. It's the 31st, and Grandview's Wednesday, the
Okay.
1st.
All right. All right. Well, looking forward to that. PHP week's always exciting to see. So
Yep. And I
see how
will
the
be
69
up
K
in
can do it.
Pennsylvania next week for at least the Williams Grove show, weather permitting. If not, maybe we can make plans and hit Port Royal on Saturday. But definitely want to try to hit Williams Grove on Friday as long as it
Yep.
does not rain.
Well, that'll be awesome. So hopefully catch up with some people up there. And I'll be here still no. Yep, I'm working on July 4th. That's where I'll be. I'll be at work. So fun. So all right, well, I think it does it for this week. We'll make sure you check out the video coming up. I'll be posting it before long. Me previewing the in-season bracket for NASCAR. And yeah, we'll get back to it during PHP week next week. So we'll see you guys then.
Cool. Bye, everybody.